Racing to the 2021 Breeders' Cup, and this time we go to the spa, Saratoga, for the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Normally this is run at Belmont Park, but this year in a scheduling change, they flip-flopped the two marquee races. They moved the Jockey Club Gold Cup to Saratoga at 1.25 miles to allow extra time for these horses to get ready for the Breeders' Cup Classic. And then they moved the Woodward, another grade one, to the Belmont Fall Meet because a lot of times trainers don't like to go into the Classic off a 1.25 mile race. It did draw a 6-horse field, including some of the big players and a returning winner of the Jockey Club Gold Cup last year at Belmont and Happy Saver. It is a 6-horse field. Let's start with some of the top contenders, and we're going to go back to the 2020 winner and Happy Saver. Happy Saver won this race as a 3-year-old at 10 furlongs, and he beat a couple of nice older horses. He beat Tacitus in that race, and then he also beat a fellow 3-year-old, Mystic Guide. Both of them were moving up in class into that grade 1 company, and at the time it kind of put Happy Saver as the leader of the division. There was some talk of Happy Saver maybe running in the Pegasus Stakes, but they'd elected to wait for a summer campaign, and that got a little bit of a delayed start. He lost the Suburban Stakes, but that was a sloppy track. The winner of that race is also in this race, Max Player. We'll take a look at him in a moment, but I thought that day, coming off a long layoff, Happy Saver ran well. Interestingly enough, in the Jockey Club Gold Cup last year, it was Happy Saver saving all the ground. He was inside, and then he came up the rail while Mystic Guide went to the outside, and that may have been the difference in that race. Then in the Suburban Stakes, it was Max Player on the inside of the pace that day. He was able to save all the ground and defeat Happy Saver, who had a little bit wider trip. I like the fact that he showed a little bit of speed, made a couple of moves off the layoff, and I think this was definitely the race in mind for Happy Saver. Now, Max Player had run in a bunch of grade 1 races. Thought maybe he was running a little bit over his head. He ran in the Belmont Stakes last year. He ran in some other prep races on the Kentucky Derby Trail. Then he went overseas this spring. Didn't really fire there, but came back and got a win in the slop. He's by honor code, and they seem to like the slop. He liked the slop that day. He also took advantage of an inside trip. As I mentioned, he was inside of the other two big favorites that day. Mystic Guide, of course, he's been retired most likely. He may come back next year as a 5-year-old, but he's done this year as a 4-year-old. And then he beat Happy Saver off the layoff. Of course, the favorite in that race was Mystic Guide. So Max Player going to try to go the 10 furlong distance again. A little bit surprised they didn't run him in the Whitney Stakes. There was talk, and there was also talk maybe going to the Pacific Classic, staying at that 10 furlong distance, but he ended up opting here for the 10 furlong Jockey Club Gold Cup at Saratoga. Steve Asmussen having a strong meet again this summer at the Spa. The up-and-comer, the new shooter, is Forza Di Oro. Now, he comes off a 113 Equibase speed figure in his most recent race. That was an allowance race. Beat a couple of nice horses in that race. He also won the Discovery Stakes as a 3-year-old, and he's got a couple of big wins. His maiden special weight was a nice win as a 2-year-old. Then he kind of bounced in the Remsen, won the Discovery Stakes. Again, he was maybe possibly going to point for the Pegasus and some other races, or maybe even big races in the springtime, but kind of elected out of there. It was a short workout tab coming into his win and the allowance race. Had a couple of slow 3 furlong workouts, not very many total workouts. This seems to be the race they're pointed for. He's got tactical speed. He can be near the front of the race. Rounding out the field, you've got Chess Chief in this one. He goes for Dallas Stewart. He's a little bit over his head. He's a nice grade 3 horse. He's got experience running against Sonneman and Mystic Guide. Then you've got Night Ops for Brad Cox. Again, another grade 3 type horse. He's run against some good horses in his career, but never really been at that grade 1 level. And then Forewarned, another horse, a veteran of the grade 2, grade 3 races on the East Coast, stepping up in class here. So it's a tight, compact field, 6 horses. The 3 major players are going to be Forza Di Oro, Max Player, and Happy Saver, the 2020 JCGC winner. For the pace-wise, I am looking at kind of a tricky pace. Max Player was close to the pace the last time. Mystic Guide was up there, but Happy Saver showed some ability to be on the pace last year as a 3-year-old. I think he could be the leader in this race. It also could be Forza Di Oro, who was a pace pressing winner in that allowance race, but now he's got to go up in class. He drew the rail, so that may answer that question with him going to the lead. And then, of course, just off them, I think is going to be Max Player. In this spot, I'm going to put Max Player coming from behind, Happy Saver as that presser, and him and Forza Di Oro could switch based on that. Chest Chief is a closer. Night Ops has some pressing ability if he wants to use it, and then Forewarned more of a closer. My selection in the Jockey Club Gold Cup is going to be Forza Di Oro. I like the new shooter. I like the speed figure in his last race. He's just a well-built horse. Pedigree has a small concern, but I think he's going to be a player in this older classic division this year. Of course, the winner of this race is a win and you're into the Breeders' Cup Classic. Of course, we've already got Nick's Go going to that race. You've got other horses. Essential Quality, a big win over the weekend. The winner of the Parks Derby is going to go that way. And then the Awesome again from Santa Anita. And then we've got Tripoli, the winner of the Pacific Classic. Who do you like in the Jockey Club Gold Cup? Leave a comment below. Hit subscribe. Ring that bell as we lead you up to the 2021 Breeders' Cup.